We are 1-1 so far, and we already said today it's really, really hard to predict. Same goes for this one. Axslav, of course, has a small ping advantage, and in general, I think Ax is pretty underrated at least in the European scene. Like, a lot of Europeans don't really give him the props that he deserves. Then again, Strelok is always so strong in the NASL, but it doesn't matter if it's Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3. He's 3-0 in Season 2. He managed to go to the final of both Season 1 and Season 2. I think Strelok is still going to do it, but I think it's going to be close. I predicted 2-1 Strelok.
Yeah, I also agree it'll be a 2-1. Again, we're going to disagree in the prediction, but you're right. Axslav's pretty underrated, especially outside of North America. He's got that following here in the States because of some of the great things he's done with his streaming. But maybe outside of the U.S. because he's not had that huge result. He's qualified for some good events. He's done well in clan leagues and things like that. But because he hasn't had that huge solo victory, maybe he doesn't get the credit he deserves. So I think it's going to be very close, but I'm going to take Axslav, and I don't think he's the underdog.
Okay. No, I wouldn't really say he's the underdog either. I really think it's a 50-50 match. I'm excited to see what we're going to do, what both players are going to open up with. We take a look at the Strelok's main base so far. It's a barracks, no gas, fast expand build. At least that's how it's starting to look like. And well, we say this pretty much every single week, but that's the build that the European Terrans love to do against Proteus.
Yes, sir, you are correct.
Why are you giggling, bro?
I'm not giggling. Please don't bring it up again.
Why, you thinking about crocodiles?
No.
About what? Thinking about my music video?
Thinking about crocodiles. Oh, I'm broken for the rest of the day.
Because Strelok is green, you have to think about crocodiles.
I just thought about when we went to commercial, they showed crocodile, and then you talked about running up your leg. Oh. Back home in the South, I grew up in Georgia. And I always say I'm from Atlanta, but I'm really from a small, kind of a country town about an hour and a half north of Atlanta called Gainesville. We're right on, right on Lake Lanier. And like I said, it was a rural upbringing. One of my neighbors had chickens, the other one had pigs. These are the kids I grew up with, and we used to run around and in the woods and stuff. We would hunt for lizards, and we would catch crocodiles and put them in jars with a little hole punch in the top and give a little leaf to eat.
You mean lizards?
No, they were crocodiles, bro. They were baby crocodiles.
Axslav is getting a really good scout off here in the main base. Oh, he actually keeps that probe alive. A little bit sloppy by Strelok, because if he would have positioned his marine better, if the marine is far behind the probe will never ever die. So I'm pretty sure that Ax is going to counter this with a 1-gate gas fast expand on himself. Then again, that's still slightly better for Strelok. Of course, it's very close, and this is a scenario that both players have been in a ton of times, so yeah, it's good on either side, but looking at it purely economically, it's a little bit better for Strelok.
Yeah, it's not hugely tilted one way or the other, and Axslav's not at any sort of major disadvantage. But Strelok's going to be feeling great getting away with this. Now, he's adding some extra barracks behind. Sorry, I've got a little frog in my throat. Not a crocodile. Axslav throwing down a couple extra barracks, and what was the game that we casted just the other day where we saw that just marine pressure off of 3-4 racks? It was
TVP?
Yep.
I don't know. I have this ladder game that we watched today. Where you were thinking about it?
Maybe that's.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. Who did that?
That was 2 days ago. It was.
Was it Cloud?
Cloud versus Korean Protoss.
No, Cloud played against TT1.
Yes, it was Cloud versus TT1, and I think it was on Tower Malter, wasn't it?
I kind of forget. I know that which game you're talking about, but for once, actually, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we've completely lost it today. But that's kind of what Strelok's doing here. He's got the 3 racks with no add-ons. He's just pumping Marines. Finally, he makes a tech lab, so maybe he won't go pushing out with 16 or so Marines. He is getting a second bunker.
You do need like quite a few Marines. Oh, look at this for Ax, by the way. That's pretty bad. His sentry is strapped. Now, eventually, he could free it with a. No, he's going to take out the pilot so early. That surprises me a lot. I would normally say that just wait a little longer with it. He's going to take it out straight away, man. So
maybe he'll just get the pylon really low, and then that way it's always easy to kill if he needs to get this. No, he's probably just going to kill it.
No, I don't think he's going to do that.
That'd be so hardcore, though, right? He just like leaves it at 1 hit point, and then every now and then he pops it to make sure the shields stay low.
And this is actually really unfortunate because by the fact that he's dropping these pilots, I actually felt that maybe he wants to put on a little bit of 3-gate pressure, something that Feast loves to do oh so much in this matchup. Of course, the Belgian Protoss, who had a lot of success in the Intel Extreme Masters.
His biggest win was probably over Supernova.
Yes.
At the World Championships, where he beat him 2-0 very convincingly.
Supernova, top 8 of the GSL Codes right now.
Axslav is pushing out as if he wants to apply some pressure, like you said, Kev. Strelok looking pretty prepared. He's got double bunker. He's got units in front and behind.
We have 13 Marines, 4 Zealots, 1 Stalker, 4 Sentries right now. More and more Zealots being warped in. It's going to come down to the force fields, but Strelok should not die to this. If he dies to this, then he's really doing something wrong. But then again, Axslav do need to kill at least, I would say, between 4 and 8 SCVs to make this sort of worth it. If he doesn't kill anything, then he's going to be a little bit behind.
He's going to kill a Marine and back away.
Maybe he's just faking. Maybe he just wants Strelok to pull SCVs for a little while and then tries it again. Or he's just going to back off completely. Well, I mean, in this case, at least he didn't sacrifice a lot of units, so that makes a little bit of sense. But now his tech is kind of late, because if we take a look in Strelok's main base, we see the reactor going up on the factories. Starport is more than halfway done. And Stimpack is already almost ready. And even +1, so I think Axslav is going to need to position his units pretty damn good in his main base, because once there are actually 2 medevacs with Stim somewhere on the map, he won't be able to fight it straight on. Yeah,
his tech's been badly delayed, and also his economy, Kev. He cut probes for a little while there. And right now it's 45 SCVs to 47 probes, and that's a position that's going to favor the Terran player a little bit. Strelok is not looking like he wants to take a quick third. I guess he wants to do some sort of pressure when these medevacs come out, or at least take some map control with his bio. So Axslav really dangerously low on Stalkers. How is he going to defend drops? He's only got a single Stalker out on the map.
He still has a little bit of time. It's going to take a little while before those 2 medevacs will really head out. And this pylon could potentially help out a lot. He will probably end up losing it once, and he has this probe over here as well. Could maybe drop another pylon over here later on just to spot those drops. It helps out so much. But if Strelok just goes via the front, Axslav is going to need some really, really good force fields, because Strelok's army has so much more DPS right now.
Yeah, he's got a super nasty bio trying to kill that pylon and then getting that vision denied level. He's got +1 done, Stim's done, concussive shields is done, and he's getting those medevacs out. So this is like the mid-game army of doom. You know, Protoss players have so much trouble dealing with.
Yeah, because like X is doing a lot of stuff as well. He's getting a robotics bay for Colossus. He's even getting a Twilight console, and he's on double forge. So right now, Ben, he's going to need super, super good force fields. I don't even think he wants to get any units slipped through the force fields, because the army of Strelok is not only a lot bigger, as we can see, 50 over 36. It just has so much more DPS.
Yeah. But that said, Axslav does have enough sentries out to be safe, and the army supply is not so different. It's 48 to 51. While Strelok's army is going to do a lot more damage, it's totally possible and even likely that Axslav won't take any, because he's in a great position at the top of that ramp.
Interesting, by the way. A really quick Ghost Academy going up for Strelok. And he's also taking this third base. That's probably why he doesn't really want to commit to losing any units, because he knows that he's doing pretty fine economically. As we see 55 SCVs against 53 probes. That's of course great for Strelok. Basically means that he's 10 workers ahead.
Yep.
What's up?
Nothing. Sorry.
Now we're both distracted.
I know, man.
Because I was thinking of something else in the start of the game. The start of my Hollywood career.
I've just never heard anything that ridiculous.
The crocodiles?
Yeah. It's not okay. Axslav's gonna move out on the map. I guess he wants to work on a third base. Looks like he's gonna send a probe forward, drop that low ground pylon. This is, you know, classically we say this is a good place for Protoss to expand this low ground third, because there's narrow chokes on either side of it, and you can use force field and good positioning to hold them. But you know, economically, Strelok really pulling ahead right now. His third's done. He just dropped a ton of mules there. And he's gonna hit this timing where he has a big boom of units. He's even making Vikings already, Kev, and it'll be very, very difficult for Axslav to really hold any ground outside of his main.
I kind of wonder what Axslav is going to do if he's going to try it. This game reminds me a little bit of the way that it's playing out right now of Ryung against Noni, played on Tiga's shipyard, where Noni made a really big attack with Colossus and a lot of linked rockets. But even though like Axslav does have good upgrades and Noni didn't have it that game, but still. He basically has won a really good fight. If he loses too much right now, Strelok's economy is so much better than the one of Axslav. And Axslav is going to be in trouble.
Looks like Axe wants to try to put some pressure on this third base of Strelok, and I like that he's attempting to do something, but is this army going to be able to leave?
Actually, Strelok is really split up right now.
Wow, Strelok's really scared right now. And I guess it's fair to be that way. I mean, Axslav hasn't taken a third. This is a big, you know, 2-base push. He's going to blink forward and try to take out the command center. This would be a really nice pickup. Strelok's not sending any units at all. CC is going to die, definitely, and now Axslav can maybe take his third and just back out of there and be in a much better position.
Strelok still has a worker lead though. Oh, Strelok actually been dropping ban. We totally completely missed that, but these two medevacs finally at the top side of the map did head into the main base, and that's why Strelok felt like he didn't need to defend that base straight away, because he picked off a lot of pros.
Yeah, I played you my main for... Played your man for my third base. Easy trade.
Yeah, and he's still going to be finding his natural, because he has all those bunkers over there.
Bunkers and Vikings galore, and he's also dropping in the back of the natural of Axslav. A couple more probes are going to fall. There's a Colossus there doing a good job. Zealot's also soaking up a little bit of that damage, but Strelok has dealt. Whoa, he's going to drop on the Colossus. That's not a good idea.
Now Strelok is just rebuilding a command center in his base. He's probably just going to float it over here. So still, Strelok came ahead of this.
Yeah, and
came out ahead of this really well.
You know, that money that he had saved up for a third went into rebuilding his main base, so he's still got no semblance of a third at all. Stalkers, what are you doing up there?
There was a couple of Marauder labor their position. I'm not sure what Strelok was trying to do. He's going to sacrifice those units, but still with the bunkers. And it's always really hard to kill Vikings from this position when you try to attack a Terran in its natural here. Vikings are going to be like either here or they're even going to be here above the high ground. Every now and then you lose vision. It's basically impossible to attack in when there are bunkers and there are Vikings, because the moment your Colossus die, you're not going to be able to do anything anymore.
I don't think Axslav realizes these Stalkers are up on the high ground. Maybe I'll blink him down now.
Which Stalkers?
The outside of Strelok's natural. Like they're on the mountain there, in the middle of the map. Back, up, left, up. There they are.
No.
See, they're like grouped with his army, and he's moving his army around. The Stalkers are staying behind.
He will probably spot it eventually.
I hope so, because that's a lot of supply to not be in a fight. That's 7 Stalkers, man.
And they're going to pick up this Marine now.
They're going to be heroes. They're just going to kill every unit that walks past.
So trying to get in the position as good as possible. Strelok still has those 2 medevacs on the left top side of the map, which forces Axslav to leave a lot of units in his main base. Axslav is going to be on 3-3 upgrades of 2 bases. How crazy is that?
That's sick, man. Yeah. And he's been so active about being out on the map and really keeping Strelok bottled up. I like that in his play, but the Viking count has gotten very high.
16 Vikings. And 2 more on the way. That's almost mad. It is mad. I actually think it's mad.
Axslav picks off one of them without taking any damage at all, so well played there. Dropping again in the back of the main is Strelok, but quickly Axslav responds.
Poor Billy.
Billy, no. Billy upgraded to a Marauder for this game.
This is so hard though, because even if X goes for the offensive blink trying to pick up the Vikings, those Marauders are just going to rip through all these Stalkers. It's good. I think he's going to need a small miracle to stay alive
big
here.
stem goes down. That doesn't feel like a good fight though. There's a lot of this bio dying very quickly. Vikings finally coming forward, but not before a lot died. Well, still, at the end of the day, every Colossus is going to get cleaned up. Good force fields by Axslav, but there's a lot of Marauders left over, and that's a pure Stalker army.
Strelok is losing so much, though. He lost all those Vikings. A few of these Tim Marauders are still going to force these Stalkers to retreat, at least for now. Blink Stalker micro. Still, that was definitely cost effective for Axslav. Then again, he doesn't really have the economy to lose the amount of units that he did. But he was down 40 supply, and they came out even.
If he can clean this up and then maybe deny the third attempt of Strelok once more, I think he's going to be okay. But 2 base to 3 base, he's never going to win this game.
No. He has an observer over here. He just saw all these mules coming down from the sky.
Blink, blink, blink. Blink your injured Stalker to the back.
Poor Viking, man.
Oh man, that's a lot of Marauders. Zealots do get in the mix, and they're going to help a lot, but I don't know. It's not going to be enough, as Marauders against Stalkers is never a really good fight for Protoss.
3-3 is ready in a few seconds, though, and I think the Axslav then is just going to wipe in a few more Zealots. He has money to wipe in Zealots. He has 900 minerals. That's quite a bit of minerals.
I think he can't decide on a Nexus or a Warframe, and he does choose for the Nexus. He will pick up some workers here. That command center takes a lot of damage. Could it possibly go down? Oh, so close. It will be repaired, though.
I love that call that Axslav made, and he didn't try to go for it all out, because he would have ended up losing all the Stalkers.
And he still killed a bunch of workers and forced a lot of lost mining time on those mules. So not necessarily a win for Axslav, but probably not a loss either.
Might want to transfer a few of these SUVs from your natural to your new base.
Slightly oversaturated.
Just slightly, though, guys.
That Nama train.
This is Nama. If this was Nama, these SUVs wouldn't go left. They'd go here. They're like programmed to go here across map. Good old Nama.
You like upgrade their drill, titanium bits.
So Axslav does finally get that third Nexus down. Took quite a while, 21 minutes. It's almost like watching Alpha Tire.
Alpha Tire wins on 2 base in 25 minutes, Kev.
Yeah. The sickest 2 base all in.
Yeah.
They come and nobody expects them anymore. Like they're already on their way to Brood Lord. It's like, wow.
No Storm yet for Axslav, but he is adding the Archons into his army. He's also very low on charge lots, only 7 charge lots. And this Terran army is getting pretty nasty.
Those Archons can absorb a lot of damage though from these Marauders, and they get one of those really poorly controlled.
The army control of Strelok has been top-notch, though. He's microing very well. Good scoot and shoot. Spreads everything out. And again, this Marauders versus Stalkers, a fight that the Protoss player has no hope of winning. And Strelok going to march right forward, deny this expansion. And that might force the GG as Strelok is broke. Or not, well, both players are kind of broke, but Strelok's mining and Axslav is not.
Yes, a lot of Zealots being wiped in, but it doesn't really matter anymore right now. 86 supply against 150 for Strelok. Axslav is going to try to make a final stand here. But as you can see, the Marine and Marauders are just too much to deal with. Axslav calls GG, and Strelok just keeps being Strelok in the NASL, and he just keeps winning.
He's playing very well so far this season. He's been cashing them checks. 150 here, 150 there.
Already collected $300 so far in this season, and if he wins today, it's going to be up to 450. We do have an instant replay moment, guys, something we want to see one more time. This big engagement was kind of poor by Strelok. Where are those Vikings going, Ben?
Yeah, they're left out of the fight for much too long, and by the time they do get involved, Strelok's lost more than half of that bioforce. I like that Axslav's able to turn this into a win, cleans up all the Vikings. Do you think he made a mistake by not building a few more Colossi?
No. Like, he had enough Colossus. There were too many Vikings.
No, I mean after this, because he never builds another one.
Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe he could have, since he did pick off a lot of Vikings, but he also saw those 3 new Vikings flying in already. So maybe he just felt that Strelok would have the economy to make more Vikings and he could produce Colossus. I mean, that was really well done by Axslav, because he went in that with 155 supply against 190, or even maxed out Strelok. But yeah, that really came down to Strelok poorly controlling in the start of the fight. Yeah. He lost, I wouldn't say half his bioforces, but at least a quarter.
A ton.
Before those Vikings actually started to work on those Colossus. And it should be the other way around. The Vikings should engage the fight, and then the bio units come in.
Yeah, of course, you're exactly right. That game brought to you guys by Kingston HyperX. Check them out, kingston.com, not Kong. Donkey Kong has nothing to do with Kingston.
That would be pretty cool too.
But check them out for SSDs and RAM. They make some of the best in the business. We're going to get to a commercial once more, and then we'll be back with Game 2, Axslav versus Strelok. I'm not sure what camera I'm supposed to be on right now, so I'm just going to look at them all.